Since a circle is a two-dimensional form, it is clear that a circle is flat. The three-dimensional extension of a circle is a sphere. The Earth is spherical, much like other planets. It does one full circle around its axis every 24 hours. It rotates slowly but continually. A portion of the Earth faces the Sun as it revolves, while another portion faces away from the Sun. Because of this, day and night in various regions of the Earth are at different times. Hey there, welcome to our channel. In this video we'll be discussing whether the Earth is flat or a sphere and how we know. Is Earth flat? Of course, the short answer is no. How though do we know that? Fortunately, solid evidence indicates Earth is unquestionably spherical, though there are theories that suggest it may be flat. You don't need to spend $1 million to launch yourself into space. Today, we cover most of that evidence, so let's get started with the video. If you entered flat Earth into Google, you would contribute significantly to the search term's recent increase. In fact, according to a recent YouGov poll, just about 2/3 of Americans between the ages of 18 and 24 think that the Earth is round. Although the flat Earth hypothesis has been scientifically disproved, there seems to be a rise in conspiracy theory acceptance. Surprisingly, despite massive evidence, the debate surrounding the notion of a flat Earth has little to do with the facts. The fact that the Earth is round and not flat is known to scientists for various reasons. As it turns out, we can also verify many of these justifications for ourselves. If the Earth were flat, provided there were no obstructions like buildings, we could look out and see a great distance. Another city hundreds of kilometers away would be visible, or a ship sailing at sea. No matter how far out to sea the boat traveled, it would always remain in view. Standing on the ground though, we cannot see that far. We cannot see a town kilometers away when we look into the distance, and when a ship moves away, it gradually begins to fade from vision. This is due to the spherical shape of the Earth. The landscape curves, making it difficult to see anything in the distance. Observing the sunset is one method for confirming this. Find a location where you can watch the sun go down, and that is also close to somewhere where you can go higher without getting hurt, like a tree or structure. You could even begin to lay down before standing up. The sun will finally go beyond the horizon on the ground. When this occurs, swiftly move to a higher location. You'll briefly be able to see the sun again from that point on. You have probably observed that a shadow will develop if the sun touches anything. It turns out that shadows yet provide more proof that the Earth is round. Consider what might occur. Shadows would be the same length wherever they were cast if the Earth were genuinely flat. This would imply that the sun shines at the same angle from every location on Earth, casting the same shadow everywhere. Though it turns out that is not the case. Two identical sticks would cast distinct shadows if placed on the ground at two separate locations on Earth. This is because the Earth is spherical, which causes little variations in how the sun will strike each area. Imagine a large open area with just one tree right in the center. Your field of view would be the same whether standing at the base of the tree or its summit if the Earth were flat. However, your line of sight will reach the horizon farther the higher you go. That's because your position has altered, disposing areas of Earth that were previously hidden by its curvature. Returning to the vast plain, space objects that are millions of kilometers away can be seen with the unaided eye. Theoretically, one might also be able to view brilliant lights from distant cities on a clear night with a clear line of sight. That this is impossible is more proof that the Earth is round rather than flat. The Earth's curvature is slightly visible at a height of 35,000 feet with a 60-degree field of view, and more easily visible at an elevation of 50,000 feet. According to a 2008 publication in Applied Optics by David K. Lynch. You could therefore be able to observe the curvature of the world with your own two eyes if you're on the right commercial flight. But even if you're not high enough, there are alternative ways to perceive the world's curvature. It would be nighttime in some parts of the world and daytime in others, for instance, if you were to fly over the planet. In this sense, the fact that time zone exists proves that the Earth is spherical. In another sense, you would even have to cross time zones. The sun rises and sets later in the western than in the eastern portion of a time zone because time zones are wide enough. The Farmera Almanac states that for every 70 miles you drive from east to west, the sun will rise and set around 4 minutes later. Consider how much more of Earth you can see when you start your ascent into the air compared to when you are waiting to take off, if you want to combine this experiment with the previous one. This also explains why the sun varies depending on where you are. In various locations, the sun is in a different position. Thus, the exact moment at which it will fall in the sky and eventually vanish beneath the horizon will vary. Additionally, this explains why there are several time zones around the globe. On the other side of the Earth, from where one region of the world faces the sun, another does not. For instance, the time difference between Beijing, China and New York, USA is 12 hours. The difference in time will be more negligible for regions of the world that are closer to one another. If you haven't already noticed, the Earth passes in front of the Moon and the Sun during a lunar eclipse. When it occurs, the Sun casts the shadow of Earth onto the Moon. When this occurs, you may see the Earth's shadow if you look up at the Moon. You'll notice that there's a spherical shadow, rather than a flat one if you do this. A possible follow-up query is whether the Earth could be flat and spherical, like a disc. As a result, the Earth would have a flat shape, whereas the shadow cast by the Moon would be rounded. The form of the Earth would vary depending on the time of day or night an eclipse occurs if it were flat but revolving. It would occasionally simply show as a line. The remainder of time, it would look like an oval or circular when it spins. But regardless of the time of day, we are aware that the shadow the Earth constantly casts on the Moon during an eclipse is circular. This gives credibility to the sphere-like nature of the Earth. The Earth's circumference is today known to be just over 40,000 kilometers. Therefore, Eratosthenes came incredibly close. As a result of the Earth's rotation, we now know that it's a slightly flattened ellipsoid rather than a sphere. Because the material it is constructed of varies in density, it is also a little bumpy. With the help of satellites, we can measure this very precisely, which is crucial for various purposes, such as understanding earthquakes, volcanoes, and the climate. Oh, and of course, those satellites wouldn't be kept in orbit if the Earth weren't a sphere. Instead, they would vanish into space. However, I don't think this debate is about the evidence or the scientific method. People who think the Earth is flat don't base their opinions on the same kind of observations. Instead, they think that we are being misled and deceived and that scientists are trying to convince us that the Earth is round even if it is flat. Many people have little trust in society, especially their leaders. When it comes to the principal elements of that society, such as politicians, academics, and scientists, trust often plummets even more. People express a fundamental mistrust of scientists and science when they claim that the Earth is flat. So instead of focusing on the facts and defenses while speaking with a flat earther, consider how you may acquire their trust. So that is all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon on your way out. Let us know your thoughts and opinions about this topic in the comments below. And until next time, take care and stay safe.